we've talked about production, media acquisition, lenses, cameras, lights, and as we were talking, at the beginning of prior to the show, it's got to end up somewhere, with media storage. So that's why we have our friend Steve at SNS. We're very proud to be one of the solid partners that you have in the US, and you've announced a very interesting application, and that includes cloud services, at IBC. I think you even got an award for it or
Yeah.
recognized. So I think that's remarkable, and just want to thank you publicly for you awarding us, a dealer of somewhere, dealer of the East Coast or something like that, an NAB. So, another excuse to have a drink together. So, other than that, I think, it's important for people to know that, the solutions of on-prem and cloud they're not mutually exclusive. So, I think your solutions, deserves a little bit of an audience, other than people who were at IBC. So take it away.
Oh, thanks so much, Michelle. Let me go ahead and pop my screen share up. And I will say B&H does service our customers the globe over on that side. So the studio really does have quite the reach on that side, which is great here for Silicon Valley too, because a lot of our Silicon Valley clients, shared or independent, certainly have campuses kind of all over the world. So it's great that they can work with you wherever they may be. So yeah, you guys should see my screen now. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Cool. So there's a little foreshadowing on this slide, although Michelle already kind of gave it away for me with the cloud stuff. So we're going to get into that and we'll go over what we review here. So one thing we want to talk about at the beginning is really some of the trends that are driving our development. And Michelle hit them right on the head at the beginning. There's certainly virtual production. There's return to work, though. There's this interesting pendulum, right? I was just reading a survey where 90% of companies are expecting to have a back to work plan, at least hybrid, by the end of 2024. And we're up to about 49% requiring some time back in the office now. The other thing we're seeing a lot is cost scrutiny and really focus on profitability. And this has been a shocking one for me, even talking to some of our multi-trillion-dollar market cap clients, where it's like we need to really focus and rein in some of these costs that got away from us, maybe putting a lot of stuff into the cloud, really focusing on this remote work and building out that infrastructure. And some of those operating costs and those licensing fees have gotten very high over time. And the CFOs are starting to notice. So we gotta be good for a little while. The other thing we've talked about is data repatriation. So bringing some of that data back from the cloud and really being a lot more vigilant as to what needs to be in the cloud, what should be in the cloud, where it has, incredible value, and what is better served on-prem in something that we own as a CapEx expense over time. A lot of the companies we're talking to have recession concerns. We've seen layoffs across the United States this year. So we need to be nimble. We need to be flexible. Most important, we need to make sure that whatever solution we provide doesn't scale your cost with your staff. Because if we add cost to staff, more likely to lose jobs. So we want to be able to kind of do more with less. And then on the other side, there is that multi-cloud, that hybrid cloud workflow. Again, what's best on-prem? What's best in the cloud? What's best in both places? The other thing I think we saw certainly from Cook, as well as from Blackmagic and Sony, is a portability aspect, right? If we do go back to this on-prem hybrid kind of world, I gotta be able to take my stuff with me. So that's kind of the first thing we released at IBC here, which is the mod. So this is powered by our EVO software suite. And if we come in here, you can see it's incredibly portable. This thing fits in my backpack. I've traveled the world with these things. They're incredibly rugged. There's a 30 terabyte server running over 1100 megabytes of throughput. So if I need to come back and edit that 400 megabyte a second XOCN, or whether I need ProRes LT, it's on here. This also has the cloud hooks that we have. So when we talk about a hybrid device, certainly we can have the camera deliver proxies to the cloud. This can actually capture proxies on set and not only move the proxies and do the transcoding against its own processors for multiple cameras, but actually send the source up as well, so that we're linking to the right spot and schedule that and alert other members. And what's neat here is that it's very it's got a very open architecture, much like lenses with multiple mounts, right? This could be the SNS cloud. This could be another public cloud. It could be a private cloud over a variety of different codecs. So that allows it to really act as a cloud edge device. We can also automatically pull data down from that cloud to work on-prem. So if I'm going to get on a plane or somewhere the internet is at a premium, I can grab that stuff, grab it locally, pick this thing up and go. So it really is a complete workflow in a portable form factor. This also includes our award-winning asset management software, Share Browser, and some other remote workflow tools that I can be my own island, allowing remote workers to work with my footage on set, wherever they may be, before it even transits to the cloud, because upload speeds in a remote shoot could be incredibly limiting. The other thing that's kind of fun here, it does come with a carrying case. So we kind of get that soft pack with it. I'd venture to say that it's big enough to fit your Cook lenses in as well. Maybe not quite the Fuji box lens. On that side, you might need a second case just for that guy. But we're also going to have a VESA mount. So when you're back at the office, you want to hook this thing up to your monitor and be able to grab it and go. You can do that. We're also bundling 6 months of our cloud VPN service. So this is a way to create encrypted tunnels, not using WAN connect, or using WAN, but not using public internet, right? For pre-release footage, for sensitive footage, for marketing material, for major brands, for Silicon Valley training videos, whatever the case may be. And as always, and with all of our SNS products, the entire EVO suite. So that's that Share Browser, that Nomad remote workflow utility I mentioned, and of course, Slingshot, our RESTful API and transcode engine. This is where I get to talk a little bit about kind of the rest of the guys here as well. We're incredibly privileged at SNS to kind of be the back end for so many different companies and so many different partners, many of them on the call today as far as clients, but also on the manufacturing side. So whether it's ARRI working with ARRI Raw, we'll transcode ARRI Raw with LUT support. Whether it be Blackmagic, we'll transcode Blackmagic Raw with LUT support on that side. We also are fast enough to stream that natively. We've created panels, workflow integrations for Share Browser inside of Resolve, inside of Adobe Premiere, inside of Final Cut. So regardless of what creative tool you're using, whether it be on the production side or the post-production side or out to delivery, there's something here for us to orchestrate, match, pair with. And as always, our software is free in unlimited fashion. So the other thing we did was we upgraded that SNS VPN service that I was talking to you about, that encrypted tunnel. And what we've done is we've really done a lot of work with optimizing standard network protocols over VPN, trying to eliminate overhead. And so what we're seeing now with our VPN accelerator, which is included with our standard VPN product, is speeds up to 5 times faster than a standard VPN. So now we can take that internet line, connect over VPN, which historically has a lot of overhead, isn't the fastest, and we can really accelerate it so we can get closer to line speed. So the faster the internet you have, the faster we can move this data without all the overhead. We don't have to overbuy and get stuck with unused parts of the line. If you have multiple EVOs, a mod, and a larger back at your facility, a larger central location, on that side, you really get the benefit of the speed because we're controlling the connection and the endpoints on that side. So you can really see the maximum of this speed. This works for all of our existing SNS cloud deployments, as well as anyone who's upgraded to Nomad V2, our remote workflow utility. This one's neat too, because so often when we're not using equipment, it's sitting on a shelf. So let's say I have my mod, I've taken it on set, I have a remote shoot, I've beamed my media back over this VPN to our central location, back to New York for Michelle there. Well, what happens to that piece of equipment when I am at the office? Well, with our new transcode accelerator, we fold it in to the existing network stack and we use it to accelerate transcode. So the more EVO servers we have, whether they be our big stack rack mount or our little mods, the more of them we have, we now scale compute as well as throughput and as well as space in your network. So even when the box is idle, it's not idle. It's still helping. It's helping the network. We can throw more processors at some of these heavier codecs, whether those be raw or incredibly compressed, like the the H.264, H.265. We've also added visualization. So you get a lot more visibility into the transcode queue. So when someone calls you and says, hey, are these files ready yet? Well, now our post supervisor or our DP or the poor showrunner who the DP is asking when the files will be ready can tell them exactly when will be ready. Hey, they're about 70% done. Just give me 10 more minutes on that side. So again, all included for free when you get these services, all incredibly affordable when we talk about doing more with less. So we've also enhanced Share Browser. So Share Browser is our media asset management piece. And again, unlimited licenses. We've added things like ACL support. Another big trend as people have gone remote is security. We need more granular permissions to who can see these files. ACLs are going to allow us to do file, folder, or volume level. Ease of use, quick look spacebar. So like what we're doing here is now if I hit spacebar, just like if I'm in an NLE or I'm in my OS, that file is going to pop up. It's going to pop up full screen. But what's really important is that Share Browser's made a proxy of that asset. So we're not going to bring the IT network to its knees. We're going to use the proxy. And if you need to get into the source, you can do that and link within your NLE. We've expanded the number of image previews, so still graphics, photos. We're not just video on that side. This one, I think, really goes well with some of the stuff that we've talked about here today, whether that be lenses or cameras or whatever. The amount of metadata imparted by a camera, focal length, aperture, shutter speed, things we just saw on the back of the Sony camera on the Cine Alta, sorry, from that side. Now we scrape all of that into Share Browser. Not only do we scrape it so that it's searchable, but you can customize the order in which it's displayed. So if I want focal length and aperture to be the top two things that I see, that's what I want. I can set that to my view. If I want frame rate and shutter speed and frame size or aspect ratio to figure out what the heck I was shooting in, those are the ones I'll see first. So now each user can customize their experience for kind of our own parts of the process, right? Everyone has our own preferences. This is the most exciting, the new proxy workflow. This works alongside SNS Cloud, which we are going to talk about, but it makes a truly seamless workflow. So let's go back to our mod, and we've shot on set, and we've uploaded our source. Let's say we didn't even make a proxy. We've uploaded our source from the mod to the SNS Cloud, in this case. Well, now the SNS Cloud is going to transcode those files, making proxies for us. And when I use the Share Browser panel inside of Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut Pro, it will automatically download the proxies from the Share Browser database to a local drive, so much smaller file, quicker to go. It will automatically attach those proxies in the project of the application and link so that I can do an offline-online workflow. This means once I've linked through Share Browser to my source, not only am I ready to render, I'm ready to stand up and walk away from the internet and keep editing. I don't have to stop for anything. This creates a seamless, automated way of working remotely and giving you the best of both worlds. Because the accelerator, the VPN accelerator, is included with the EVO Cloud, we also released EVO Cloud Edit in Place. We were editing raw footage in our studio from our cloud, housed in a data center hundreds of miles away in real time. I didn't need the proxy. And if I did start to get some stutter in that internet for whatever reason, then I would just switch, because remember, those proxies have auto-downloaded. So now it doesn't matter. You have the media automatically in both places. You have a connection that's fast enough to actually edit incredibly high-resolution video in real time. I used to joke when we talk about remote workflows, you can't break physics. And then my engineers did. All things kidding aside, latency over a far enough distance will still be a problem, but we do have EVOs in multiple data centers. The other thing Michel just mentioned here is we did win yet another award. So we've won our NAB award, and we won the IABM BAM award for our cloud offering. One of the challenges we've heard from our customers with cloud is that it's not, well, cloud is a single term. Making the cloud work is not a single thing. You need storage, you need MAM, you need workstations, you need all these different instances and someone to set them up and someone to manage them. And all of those are great. And there are a lot of engineers out there that can do it. We specialize in easy. So certainly we need secure cloud access. That's going to come along with the VPN, again, in a limited fashion. The asset management, the Share Browser is the same between on-prem or cloud. It's just where the database is. In fact, they can sync each other. So you can create your own hybrid cloud with the equipment. Michelle mentioned AI. Got to have that these days. So we do have AI connections to popular large language models as well as recognition services and things like that. And those integrate directly into the NLE panels. Remote workflow tools, that auto download I was mentioning is included with the cloud. The compute is there with the cloud. Automatic transcoding, training, setup. But what you don't have to worry about, ingress and egress fees. There's no data transit fees. Everything for us is a flat rate price. There's no compute fees. Doesn't matter how much footage you throw up there, you're paying for the space. You're not paying for the transaction. You're not paying to look at your own data. Obviously, you don't require any server hardware. You could also have a hybrid. You could have some server hardware and the cloud and go from there. You could integrate to other clouds in a multi-cloud environment. No licensing fees. This is what I meant when I was talking about let's not make our employees more expensive. It's hard enough to get and keep a job. Let's not give management any reasons to get rid of us, shall we? And then last but not least, no long-term commitments here. So you can do this month to month. You can do it for 6 months. You can do it for a year. You can do it as long as you want, as short as you want, and lock in your price. It's entirely up to you. If you want to see how these things come out a little bit more into your specific workflows for the Silicon Valley group here, you can reach out to us at snesevo.com and just fill out the little form, and you'll probably get a call from me or one of my colleagues. You can reach out to the studio at B&H. The studio actually has one of our on-prem devices in New York, so if you want to go kind of play with it in person and feel the speed, you can do that. And that's kind of the end of where I'm at for today.